Alright, so I guess I didn't get any time to make a video during my days off, so I'm going to make one here real quick. So last week I made a video about how I had this friend who thought Tesla was going to fail, and because of the wind and a lot of other things, I wasn't happy with how any of them came out, so I didn't publish it. Anyway, when I was making that video, I was talking about how I could see where he's coming from, but that when I read the story of Ray Kroc and then of Sam Walton and then of Jeff Bezos, they were always expanding like all crazy nuts fast and doing similar things. Anyway, afterwards, like just recently, probably 2 or 3 days ago, I saw a video by Independent Man where he was saying Tesla's no Amazon. So I watched that to see what he was talking about. And Amazon did indeed have a very different business model than Tesla did. Like, basically they would take money in for the orders and then get something from some kind of supply warehouse somewhere and send it out. So they were never generating a lot of capital into their business. So they were a bad example, and I was off base using that as an example. But the Sam Walton and Ray Kroc things were similar because they were like freaking their accountants up. They were burning through money really fast, just expanding like crazy, but they made things work. However, I do think there are some things about Tesla that are a legitimate concern. Obviously, I want them to succeed, but if you were like looking at the people who say they're gonna fail's arguments, they have some points. And one of the main ones is like kind of like conservatives and liberals need each other for a lot of different reasons. And one of those is that people that tend to be liberal are kind of like imaginative and creative and stuff, like Elon Musk is, and people are conservative tend to be real conscientious and get things done. And because Elon Musk is so smart and such a visionary, he kind of goes all over the place, like doing his SpaceX and his Boring Company and Solar City and all these things. And he's not just focused on one thing. And that's okay if the people under him are conscientious enough and have their act together enough that they can keep Tesla together. But he's so charismatic and so smart that everyone just thinks that he's going to magically fix everything because he's so smart. And sometimes he just has too many irons in the fire. So obviously I want Tesla to succeed more than anything. They're my favorite electric car company. He has a real vision. There's no suspicion whatsoever that what he's doing is just compliance. Like, he's definitely trying to change the auto industry. He's definitely trying to change the way we travel. He's got a vision, and I love that. But if you read the history of Apple, like, if you didn't read it and you just like go off of like what goes to the public, you would think there was this super brilliant guy, he makes this awesome successful company, they kick him out of his own company, doesn't do so good, and then he comes back and it does great again, and you're like, why did these idiots kick him out of the company? But when you actually go into the details, you'll see that Steve Jobs was the same way. He was insanely creative and imaginative and had great ideas and could see opportunity, but he was kind of like unbridled potential and creativity and not real good with just the getting things done. And it actually made sense when they sent him out, and luckily he went and did some things that were productive and helped him learn and recharge, and he came back and made a bunch of other great things, and it was a cool story the way it played out. But I could fear that Elon Musk could be similar that way. I mean, obviously he's a different person, everything, but like when he bought Solar City, I love the idea and everything, but the company was losing millions and millions every year, and I don't know that they've turned it around. And they burn through cash like crazy. Obviously they can generate it pretty fast too, and they got those 500,000 resis on the Model 3, I mean, that's $500 million straight up. You know, and if he does put this like Roadster 2.0 out, and you know, he sells 1,000 founder versions, which does not seem unrealistic, well, that's another $250 million, right? I mean, 250 million. So he can raise money quick, but he's also really far in debt, and he's burning through it really fast. And I'm just hoping there's enough people that are good at keeping their nose to the grindstone, running business, keeping things efficient, that they don't just keep burning through money, because obviously I want this company to succeed more than any of them. But that's also why I want all the electric companies to do as good as they can. I don't want all our eggs to be in one basket, because you never know what can happen. And I definitely think anyone that's driven an electric car knows how awesome they are. Like, as soon as we get like the range issues like pretty much taken care of, which I feel Tesla's done a better job than anyone, because their cars can go pretty far and their superchargers charge really fast. So the gap between that and a gasoline car is small enough that people could tolerate it and it would work. And if we could get the other car companies to do something similar, especially with the charging, because I feel like with the 2019 Nissan Leaf they're going to make, and with the Chevy Bolt, if they keep the battery dependable and stuff, I think those cars are already on the right track. And I think a lot of other companies will follow. Like, all the concepts out there are claiming big range, but there's a difference between talk and reality. So until they put them out, you can't really believe them. But if they follow through on what they're saying, there's going to be a lot of cars out there with good power, look nice, good range. And so just because one great company goes down doesn't mean that the whole industry is going to die. I think people that have gotten a taste of these cars love them. It's not like in the 90s with the EV1 where there were only like a couple thousand or whatever. Like, this has been going on over 7 years strong, just since the Leaf came out. They even had like IMEVs and some other things prior to that, but there started being a lot kind of sold by 2011 when the Leafs came out. And like, when you read, like, I was watching a Like Tesla video where they borrowed a guy's Model 3, and this guy he must had money. He had a lot of nice cars, and way back before he even had a Tesla, when he had like a BMW and a Leaf, he got rid of his BMW, which is a nice car, because he loved the way that the Leaf drove and stuff, and he probably liked the environmental things and stuff too. But since he had money, soon he got a Tesla, and then he had more range and stuff, and didn't have to deal with the range limitations that a lot of us Leaf owners are still dealing with. But yeah, it's awesome the way the battery's down on the floor, so the center of gravity's good, and you have the instant torque, and it's just simple, and you don't have near the maintenance and everything. So it definitely feels like the future. I think it can catch on as long as they take care of the range things. But I think the people that are worried about Tesla aren't just a bunch of like auto industry and oil giants like a lot of people that are Tesla fanboys say. I mean, obviously some of them are, but some of them are actually people that just have good business sense. And I've seen people fly in the face of that before, like what Ray Kroc did, and then what Sam Walton did kind of surprised everyone and no one saw it coming. And so maybe Elon Musk will follow that path, but he's definitely done some things that seem erratic enough from the outside that I can see where they're coming from. So here's hoping that in spite of putting so many irons in the fire, he still finds a way to keep Tesla going, or else sells it to someone else super competent when his passions pull him somewhere else. Because either way, I just want the company to succeed.